Good morning, all. Welcome to our webinar today on cryptography posture management for quantum-ready zero trust architectures. We're going to be talking about why and how this notion of cryptography posture management is an indispensable one for people like agencies and organizations who are looking to get quantum ready and adopt a zero trust architecture. So let's jump into it. There we go. So I am joined by two lovely and experienced gentlemen today. So first we have Vijay Viswanathan, the Vice President of Product here at ISARA. A quick little background, Vijay is a three-time founder and a seasoned technologist. He has successfully led one startup to over 24 million in ARR with a proven track record in product development and go-to-market strategy. He's held leadership roles across four startups in Gen AI, LLMs, quantum security, cybersecurity, and also computer vision spaces. Two of his companies were actually acquired, so hey, congratulations on that, Vijay. He's been recognized for driving innovation, has earned multiple accolades, including awards from On Deck Fellowship, Forum Venture Innovations, GM Innovation, TiCon, and other prestigious forums between 2017 and 2025, with more surely to come in the future. We're also grateful to be joined with Mr. Harvey Morrison, the founder and CEO of Marion Square. So Harvey, as I just said, founder and CEO of Marion Square. It's an advisory firm dedicated to helping technology companies succeed in the US government market, so very relevant to what we're talking about today. He has over 20 years of expertise. Harvey works with companies in AI, cybersecurity, quantum computing, data analytics, and he does this to craft tailor-made go-to-market strategies, identify strategic funding opportunities, and secure those critical partnerships. He leverages mechanisms to drive market growth and adoption for his clients. He is a trusted advisor, and he's focused on connecting technology companies with key government priorities and those funding initiatives, while at the same time guiding them through these complex regulations and compliance requirements. Again, very relevant to the things that we're talking about today. So, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us today. And of course, my name is Philip LaFrance. I am the standards manager here at ISARA. If you happen to want to know more about me, I recommend we connect on LinkedIn. So the introductions aside, I think we should jump into the material. So I would say that there's something of a tendency for agencies and organizations to view the adoption of zero trust and the adoption of quantum readiness as these distinct initiatives. And if I can be maybe a little bit forthright, we think that's a bit of a mistake. So, Harvey, why don't you kick us off here and just give us an idea about what the core connections are between these two different undertakings?
Yeah, so I think you're correct. I think if you look at it, zero trust and quantum readiness on the surface may seem like separate tracks, but in practice, and what we're seeing in the industry is they're built really on the same foundation, which all agencies and organizations need to think about, and that's strong cryptographic visibility, control, and you're going to hear this word a lot thrown out there, agility. And if you take a look at, because I like to sort of ground everything on the government mandates that are out there, right? Federal guidance makes it clear, OMB 2209, which has been driving this zero trust adoption across government, it requires agencies to identify and inventory cryptographic protocols and gain visibility into cryptographic traffic. And if you look at OMB 2302, which is really focused on post-quantum migration, it requires a comprehensive cryptographic discovery and inventory across IT and OT systems. So both mandates, I think, really point to the same operational needs, which is knowing exactly where cryptography is used, understanding its risk, and having the ability to replace or strengthen it really quickly. And I think that's where, as we're going to talk today, cryptographic posture management really kind of connects the dots, right? It provides agencies and organizations with the visibility to enforce zero trust policies today and the cryptographic agility to migrate from, quantum or to classic encryption algorithms to quantum safe algorithms, in the future very quickly. So again, I think if organizations look at these as two different tracks, they risk duplication, they risk blind spots, and they really need to be brought together into a single program again, providing, cryptographic visibility control, and then ultimately agility when it comes to remediation.
Yeah, I think that's very well put. I mean, you don't just risk wasting resources by having them as separate tracks. You risk these things working against each other in a negative way. So that reconciliation is important. Vijay, anything you want to add to this one?
Um, I think we'll talk more about this. Harvey talked about how the government agencies are looking at it from the memos and the national security memorandums and so on. But as we go into the webinar, you will see that the common underlying thing is what does it mean to data protection with cryptographic posture management? So I think as we go down, we can talk a little bit more about it, but eventually you're protecting something. And
Yeah,
that's what
I
absolutely.
think just one other thing to add there, Philip, if you talk to government agencies today and they look at this, probably 18 months ago, there was quantum readiness and there was zero trust. But over the last 18 months, those have come together, and folks are seeing quantum readiness as one of the pillars of the overall zero trust architecture that's out there. So just another thought as we look at those. You can't keep them as two separate items. They really need to be one.
That's very encouraging to hear. I'll say that. Okay, so very clearly then there is this connection between zero trust and quantum readiness. So let's bring the crypto posture management stuff into the conversation here. We can give this a technical definition, and we have. We recommend you go to the ISARA YouTube page. But I'm really interested in what this means practically. So, Vijay, I'll let you take this one. What does crypto posture management actually mean for an agency, mean for an organization? What are the sort of key benefits that it'll deliver?
So, if you look at the core of all the agencies, what are they doing? They are housing a lot of the IT infrastructure to be able to do the different set of operations that an agency has to do, whether it's Department of Homeland Security, protecting our home, protecting our data, protecting our borders, along with CBP and so on. Then if you look at it, HHS, it's providing the right healthcare. So if you look at all of them, they are all having infrastructure and processes to be able to drive the right services and uh, things for the citizens. So they have very critical data inside, and the data today are all being communicated over the wire, over data at rest. These are terminologies where is it sitting on the server? Is it running over a network? So anybody who can tap into the network or can get illegal or unauthorized access can see a lot of this information. So that's where the first thing, as you can see here, is encryption to be able to protect data either over the wire or to be able to protect the data when it's sitting somewhere is very, very important. And how do you do that? You need to understand what do you have, what is missing, what is vulnerable, what can be easily hacked. So once you understand that, then as Harvey mentioned the word visibility, we would start to talk more about this. The key thing is bringing that visibility and to be able to action what is not good today, what can be improved, and what does this mean in terms of risk to the agencies? How do you reduce data centric risk? And what does it mean to enforce certain policies to be able to have a higher protection comfort around it? And that's where the very key thing is driving cryptographic agility so that you can constantly monitor and to be able to protect the data and potentially even predict certain things that happen so that you can be operationally not only safe, but also be efficient and protect the data that we have. It's all national security data in different shapes and forms. And that's why this becomes very critical in terms of cryptography as a foundation. How can it help protect that data?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, how can you efficiently manage your risk, manage your operations if you don't have visibility into the actual cryptography you're using here? Harvey,
Right.
any additions here?
Well, I was going to say, if you look at all the major governments out there, the EU, Canada, the US, all of their migration plans from an encryption perspective start with this visibility piece, right? Every one of them does. And I think it goes back to, and you're going to hear this, right? You can't protect what you don't know. And that's why I think, this visibility is key. The other thing, VJ mentioned, which I think is really critical, is continuous. I think gone are the days where, at 9/11 on August 12th, I am compliant. On 9/12, I don't know if I'm compliant or not, right? So this ability to continuously monitor this to see if you are compliant and what's out of compliance is going to be critical. And then the last thing I think I'll mention, because I think since COVID, this has really kind of affected agencies today, is you've got now what used to be everybody goes into the office and works. And so you had this perimeter and you kind of knew exactly where everything was. Now you've got hybrid, you've got people, working off site on their phones and all these sorts of things. So how do you get visibility, continuous visibility around that environment is a challenge. And I think crypto posture management is really the way to start to think about that. But again, it all starts with visibility. And then the other thing I would add there, again, that VJ mentioned, is continuous visibility, right? So not just a snapshot in time, but you continually understand your posture and where you're at.
Yeah, sage point. I'm suddenly feeling like we can have a very robust conversation about this. To the audience members, I did forget to mention, time permitting, we will be having a Q&A, so you should be able to type in your questions as we go, and we'll try to address those as we can. But okay, very nice. So these next couple slides are fun. So we just said, okay, there's some nice practical benefits to crypto posture management, but how do they directly contribute to zero trust adoption? So, Harvey, I'll direct this at you. For example, CISA's zero trust maturity model has these three really nice cross-cutting capabilities across their five pillars. So it's like visibility, automation, and governance. So in terms of crypto posture management, how do they enable agencies to enhance its zero trust maturity across those three cross-cutting areas?
Yeah. So again, zero trust has been, we've been tracking this at Marion Square for probably the last 3 years now, almost four. And I will tell you now that agencies are really starting to invest and deploy zero trust. And if you overlay crypto posture management with it, I think you hit it, Philip, where you talk about visibility, automation, and governance, right? So just a couple of areas or a few areas. I think it starts with this automated visibility that we talked about, right? Crypto posture management really continuously maps where cryptography protocols are used, where they're weak or outdated algorithms exist, and which systems are at risk, right? And that level of insight is essential for enforcing data protection and validating trust boundaries, which are all key to zero trust. It then drives automation by integrating in with ticketing and remediation platforms, maybe like ServiceNow or something like that, right? So to really kind of help enforce policy, enforce things like key rotation, help with things like risk mitigation. So again, you don't want to rely on manual processes. That's where things kind of break. And then finally, I think it strengthens governance, right? By really translating technical findings that you have into risk-based reporting. And that really allows agency leadership to track maturity. This is a big one: prioritize resources and
Mhm.
really ensure alignment with zero trust goals across IT, OT, and the cloud environment. And I want to emphasize, Philip and VJ, this prioritization piece, because as agencies go to start to migrate solutions over, one of the big things is, hey, where do we start, right? And there's a bunch of different ways to think about where you start. Some of it can be, this system has data and it's going to be valid for more than 7 years. So we probably should start there because it's really at high risk. Or, hey, this system is never going to be able to migrate to, say, post-quantum cryptography because it's so old and outdated. We're going to have to buy a totally new system. And there's a process we have to go through for that, which is going to take a lot of time. So I think getting that visibility and really understanding where the risks are, enables agencies to properly prioritize what they're doing and enable these migrations over in a very risk-based, organized sort of fashion, if that makes sense.
Makes great sense. Vijay, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, a couple of points to what Harvey mentioned. So the first is manual doesn't cut it because a lot of the times the moment you finish, you're done and it's stale data.
Mhm.
That's where I want to emphasize the aspect of continuous so that you're able to continue to not only see what more pops up, but also validate if you have taken some corrective measures, right? So manual, I think that's a very important thing. The other aspect that I wanted to highlight was based on what Harvey was talking in terms of prioritization. We typically kind of look at it as mitigate or migrate, where to if you have a remediation action that needs to be taken, say suppose a library is bad in a server, a configuration is bad, or an encryption is bad, you have to update it, then you can go mitigate that in terms of that action. Or the other way is this application is 40 years old. You cannot just mitigate it, you have to migrate it. So you can either take something to the cloud, like on Microsoft Azure or Amazon Web Services, or you can do it in a different platform in terms of technology that would be more conducive to maintain for the next 10, 15, 20 years. So I think the key thing is mitigate or migrate will help us understand and continue to track that uh, ability to be having a good crypto posture.
Yeah,
One thing,
I like
Philip,
that.
just to kind of add there, sorry to hop in, but as agencies look at this crypto posture management, one of the things we at Marion Square always talk about is you have to be ready for remediation, because this is going to uncover, right? I mean, you have to do it, and it's a good thing you do it because it's going to uncover things you probably never thought about. Like, hey,
Mhm.
this is really old cryptography. We've had some folks go, holy cow, we have no cryptography on this. We thought we did, right? So it's going to uncover a lot of maybe short-term gaps that you have. But the thing to think about is you have to be ready for remediation as well too. You can't just uncover these things and go, hey, we found all these problems. That's great. You have to be ready for that remediation that's going to come afterwards. So don't go into this thinking, we're probably going to run this and be just fine. You're going to find issues, and you have to be ready to remediate those issues.
Yeah, we have seen this firsthand. Like, what do you mean there's plain text communication between the server and this client? That doesn't jive with our policies. That is not good security hygiene. We didn't even know about this, and it's
So
very,
put zero trust and post quantum encryption migration aside. This is like a real risk remediation kind of program to run this thing, right?
yeah,
And I think you're going to find like, oh wow, we have an immediate risk right here that we need to address. So I think it's more around good crypto hygiene kind of at the base level, and then it drives those other things outside of that.
yeah. I'd say irrespective of large scale quantum computing, crypto posture management is a good practice. Irrespective of
Exactly.
zero trust, absolutely. And
Yep.
one short little quip on the prioritization thing. I mean, first rule of economics, right? Resources are finite, wants are infinite. You got to prioritize. And that's exactly what we're
If
trying to
we
do
if we
here.
put our resources towards this, we're leaving this alone. But we all know that, and we made this trade-off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's our rationale for making that trade-off. That's what crypto posture management gives you, is that rationale for being able to make that smart trade-off.
Yeah, exactly. With the analytics and the reporting, the visibility. Hey, this is a weak cipher. This is why it's a weak cipher. Here's how you remediate. I want to talk to you for hours, but we only have so much time, and I'll try to talk a little less. It's a character fault. Um, okay, so kind of looking at the other side of that same coin again. So we talked about crypto bot management, those cross-cutting capabilities from the CISA model, but they're not necessarily unique to zero trust. So kind of focusing specifically on the quantum readiness side, Vijay, go.
Yeah, so if you look at the core five tenets of zero trust, they're talking about nobody can be trusted. You got to protect your environment. But if you flip that to quantum readiness, it's all about data can be stolen anytime, whether it's harvest now, decrypt later, or it goes with certain impersonation, confidentiality mechanisms. You got to protect your data. I think that's the key thing. So both of them look at it as whether it's people, process, and data. So how do you protect your perimeter? Who do you let in? And then what is to be protected? Your servers. What are they housing? Your applications. What are they protecting? Your data. So eventually it's about your environment and what intelligence that you have in that environment and what data, sensitive data you have in that environment. That's what you're protecting. And that goes back to whether it's cryptographic inventory or it's a risk assessment. As Harvey said, it comes down to risk mitigation in terms of protecting your data. That's the bottom line. And zero trust and quantum readiness are hand in hand with protecting the data, although for different purposes. One is more of the perimeter purpose, one is more of quantum readiness purpose. And the key thing again is the more you automate, the more you can easily remediate, and enforcement becomes very, very simple. And I think that's the key aspect of cryptographic posture management, where you don't need to go through this manual and then, oh, there is a change control. Oh, you have to kick off a project to do this. These can be more automated and you can get this visibility of remediation and validation very, very quickly.
Harvey, anything you want to add on there?
I would just emphasize what VJ's saying is really the importance around the automation piece of this thing, right? In today's age, there's really no reason to be doing manual sorts of looking at your cryptography, understanding where it's at. Automation really needs to be key and included here.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're talking about continuous policy enforcement, dynamic policies, I mean, this has to be continuous, real time, and autonomous. I mean, you just can't do it manually. It's just not going to work. And sure, if you're just starting and you got a maybe early stage zero trust architecture, not everything is going to be automated. It's not going to happen overnight, but certainly the goal over time is to integrate these with your processes, ticket-based workflows. There's no point in crypto agility if everything's this deeply manual process. So I
Yeah,
think that's very well said, gentlemen.
I think you're 100% correct too, Philip, in the integrating this into your larger ecosystem, like your ServiceNow or your other ticketing systems. That's truly when you get an automated workflow that's going to streamline those operations and make this a very efficient process.
Strongly agree. Okay, we got a couple more things to talk about. So we've looked at the sort of general benefits of crypto posture management, sort of how it enables zero trust and quantum readiness. I wanted to just kind of shift the perspective just a little bit for this one. So maybe Vijay, you can start here. What would you say are the core strategic goal? Actually, maybe sorry, Harvey, maybe we'll start with you on this one.
Yeah, sure.
What would you say are the core strategic goals that, say, agencies specifically can expect to achieve when they prioritize crypto posture management today? So maybe immediate value or maybe long-term value.
Yes. So I think agencies that prioritize this, right? Move from reactive agencies or reactive programs around this, maybe fragmented programs or various parts of the agency own it, to really a continuous kind of risk-based model. And I think this is key. It's scalable, right? Across the organization, one, but I think it's also scalable in that it enables you to really look at and address evolving threats and evolving policy requirements, right? Because every day there's a new threat that comes out, and again, the U.S. government, it seems like every day there's a new policy that's coming out that needs to be addressed. So I think having a robust crypto posture management solution, right, allows you to kind of to take that and scale across your enterprise. So that's kind of my initial thought on the value of crypto posture management for those four agencies. Again, you don't go from a you go from a reactive sort of approach to really more of a proactive kind of approach with this, and it becomes one continuous enterprise-wide approach to it.
Yeah, I think that's really, really well put. Vijay, anything you want to say there?
Just one point, I think I want to bring it back the last few slides or few things Harvey mentioned. The risk aspect is key, and then prioritization was the other key aspect. So risk-informed prioritizations or risk-informed decisions so that you can achieve a lot of these goals. The more you can, we've talked about data-driven decisions for a long time, but data is a core component, fundamental component. But here, if you look at it, the risk-based data is what you use to make those decisions,
Mhm.
so that you can achieve that uh, cryptographic hygiene, you can achieve quantum readiness, you can achieve operational efficiency, some of the compliance aspects too, and eventually it's crypto agility, kind of freedom.
Yeah, let me emphasize. I think the short term, right, is going to be your, hey, I've identified some really big problems I had no idea that were
Yep.
happening, right?
Yeah.
Short term. And then I think longer term, as we talked about, it's going to enable you to put this crypto agile ecosystem infrastructure in place that's going to allow you to, again, adopt to this ever-changing threat environment. What you don't want to do is hard code crypto, do it, spot, and then every so often go, oh my gosh, we have a big enterprise issue. You need to stay on top of that. And a good implemented crypto posture management program allows you to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it all kind of starts with good crypto hygiene, and to get there, you need some visibility, and it
Accurate.
all, percolates from there. Very well put. We got a couple more slides. We're nearing the end. So let's say this. If an organization successfully implements a crypto posture management program and they kind of realize those nice strategic benefits we talked about, let's talk a little bit about what happens next, right? So maybe Harvey, you can start with this one again. So how do having these established advantages, so that visibility, that reduced risk, that improved governance, how does this mean provide a stepping stone rather for getting that more comprehensive, mature zero trust architecture?
Yeah, so again, we've talked kind of around this throughout the webinar here, but I think once crypto posture management is in place, the agency or the organization really has something that most organizations struggle to achieve, which is a real-time, risk-informed understanding of its cryptographic landscape. And I think that once you have that, that becomes then the foundation to do things like scale zero trust in a meaningful way. So it's not just a policy framework, but it's actually a set of enforceable, measurable controls for the enterprise. With enhanced visibility, right? Agencies can make more precise access decisions, linking their trust policies to actual security state of encrypted data and systems. And then improved governance also is going to enable leadership to track risk and readiness across mission systems, really enabling them, for example, to align their zero trust investment with the highest impact areas. So I think crypto posture management really equips agencies, right, to transition zero trust into a sustained operational model, one that evolves with the threat landscape and really supports continuous improvement across kind of all those pillars. So I think that's really what your ultimate goal is. And so I think that's kind of the next step that agencies need to look at once they get this crypto posture management solution in place.
Yeah, that ties it all together very nicely, Harvey. Thank you. Vijay, any final comments on the slide?
One additional comment is I think we have talked about risks and the policies associated. How do you enforce those policies? How does that framework get operationalized easier? Because if it's reactive, if you're, oh, here is a problem, let's go fix that. Let's either enforce some policies there or create some policies there. That becomes very, very difficult after the fact. That's where the visibility to the risk-based decisions, investment decisions, and thereby whatever the policies need to be deployed, um, is a very seamless way to be able to go to understanding it and acting what needs to be done to protect your data.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of what needs to be done, I mean, this wouldn't be complete if we didn't talk about how to actually get started with this. So very clearly, we've established the path to that quantum-ready zero trust architecture runs through having a strong crypto posture management program. But again, this notion of crypto posture management is relatively new to a lot of people, and they're still kind of getting familiar with what it means. So the how to get started is, still something of a hurdle. So Vijay, I'll throw this one at you to start with. How does our approach and our technology specifically enable organizations, agencies operationalize their crypto posture management and kind of accelerate their path to a quantum-ready ZTA?
So today, if you look at it, even if you're saying, oh, quantum readiness is a year away, you need to understand what weak cryptography you have today, because either it could be you could be losing data, or you could be losing data to things like harvest now, decrypt later. So understanding and getting the visibility to what weak crypto you have or strong crypto you have. If you have strong crypto, great. That protects your data. Then seeing what is at risk based on that. We've talked about risk-based investment decisions, which is where what we do is we have a mapping to which servers, what applications, and what does it mean in terms of how important the data is. How do you prioritize it? And then prioritization wise, you say these five things are the most important to fix first, so that you can get the first level of quick win. You've understood it, you've prioritized it, you've remediated or action something. So you've got your quick win, and you can do that with the workflows using things like ServiceNow and other components, so that you're able to track them, you're able to share them, and bring visibility to the organization. And then at that point, it's less noise. It's not like reactive, oh, this is popping up, that is popping up. Then it's more of management of that quantum hygiene, and to be able to drive and use cryptographic posture management to have a good cryptographic hygiene and a quantum ready state.
Absolutely. Uh, Harvey, anything you want to throw in here?
Yeah, so again, I'm a VJ. I think did a really good job explaining how to get started. One of the things I want to just highlight for government agencies about the ISARA approach. So we at Marion Square have been following this space for a long time now, and the thing that pops out that makes it, I think, quick with ISARA is ISARA offers not only a cloud-based version, but also an on-premise version, right? So when you look at how do I get this into my organization or my agency and get it up, running and going, you don't need a FedRAMP certification to be able to do this, because it can be put on premise. The other key thing to keep in mind that this solution provides over and above a lot of what's out there is it gives you full visibility across not only your endpoints, but also your network, right? So when you think about, hey, I want to bring a technology in quickly, I want to make sure it can support my entire enterprise. Those are two things that I want to make sure we highlight about this. Again, there's other solutions out there. Don't get me wrong, but if I think about this and how you can quickly bring it in, quickly get it deployed, right, from a security requirements perspective and those sorts of things in the government, this will cover both your endpoints and your network, and it won't require that FedRAMP certification to get it in and get it going. And it's available on a bunch of different contract vehicles as well too. So I'd be remiss if I didn't say that as well. We partner a lot with Carosoft, the big reseller, and they've got lots of different contract vehicles that federal agencies can procure this off of. So I think that's just as important from a where do you start perspective as the technology is if you're talking to government.
Yeah, that's very insightful. The FedRAMP one in particular is a really good observation there, Harvey. So thank you very much for that. So that is the end of our webinar. So thank you very much. We're slightly over time, but we can maybe give it a couple minutes for some Q&A. Harvey, I rudely neglected to put your contact information here in the thank you slide. Can you just tell the attendees how they could reach out to you?
Yeah, you can just find us at marion-square.com, or if you want to reach out to me, it's just Harvey at marion-square.com. So, or you can reach out to the folks at ISARA. They know how to get a hold of me as well. We're good
Absolutely.
partners with them.
Okay, well, I think before we just quickly close this out, I'll just open the floor. Harvey, Vijay, any closing comments you'd like to leave our guests with?
Again, I'll just emphasize that, not only here in the US, but in Canada and Europe, everything starts with visibility, right? And this is a great way, this crypto posture management, to give you the visibility you need, to be able to then launch things like zero trust, to launch the migration to post quantum encryption. And as we talked, right, you're going to find those near term short problems. So just regular crypto hygiene with this solution.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
And actually, Vijay, there's a question that came in I might throw at you. What is the smoothest way to prove to management that it's easy to start getting that visibility? I think you can handle this one.
I think it's super simple where you can take either a tool, for example, ISARA Advanced can help you with that. Take a very small environment, say your lab environment, your test environment. You have, say, 50 servers, 100 servers in it, where if you go and do it manually, it's going to take probably 3 to 4 weeks to be able to get everything, where you can get that visibility probably in 2 to 5 days, probably within a day. But if there are additional configurations that need to be done, that's what I'm saying, 2 to 5 days. But once you have that, what happens is you're not only getting an inventory, but you're also getting the prioritized actions based on that. But primarily, you will get a report to be able to say, here is what we have seen, the first level of visibility we got, and here are some of the actions that we're planning to take. That can be an easy, quick win to show your management in terms of here is the first crypto posture management report that you can generate, which can be repeatably done thereafter.
Yeah, ISARA Advance, quick to deploy, gives results fairly quickly. Nice, convenient reporting, so you can tell your executives, hey, this is exactly what is going on. Here's the priority, here's the risk, and this nice, very clear visibility and visualization we have. Folks, we are a little bit over time, so I think I will have to end it there. If you do have more questions, again, reach out to us at sales@isara.com, or you can reach out to Harvey or Vijay directly. One more time, thank you, gentlemen. This has been lovely. I would love to talk to you for hours. To everyone online, thank you for joining. Looking forward to seeing you folks next time. Take care
Thank
all.
you.